Hello and welcome back everybody to Aurora 4X. No, that is not Aurora 4X, that's just an awesome wallpaper. Aurora 4X is over here. There we go. That's it. Such a beautiful thing. Alright, we're back in the map. Now, it's been a couple days since I last ran this, so I'm going to continue on where we left off. We had just, quite literally just created the universe, I believe. So yeah, let's go over some things. We've got our display here. And forgive me if I go over something that I went over on the last one because, well, to be honest, like I said, it's been a couple days. So this is the full view that you can have. Quite a mess. You can kind of see why once you get 5, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, 1,000 systems generated, that it can lag your system down quite severely. So there's a bunch of stuff that we turn off. We turn off the fleets. Well, we leave the fleets on. The move tails, we leave on. The colonies, we leave on. The comet paths, we turn off. The names of things, we generally turn those off and leave the rest on. Orbital paths, this is lots of mess, so let's turn off the asteroids. And if we click on, let's see here, let's click on Jupiter here. If we click on Jupiter, Jupiter's there in the center, and all those little blips, those other little rings, those are moons. So we turn off the orbiting path for moons. Just makes it a lot tidier. We don't need the orbital paths for moons. We know they're there. Our ships can find them without the orbital paths. And I will go back and forth between asteroids, turning them on and off as I need them. Body info. As I said before, this is the solar system that you are in, or whatever object you have selected, be it a comet, asteroid, planet, ship, or whatever, even escape pods. Bodies, this is everything that is in your current solar system. And once we explore more, we can click it right here and scroll between them, and this will populate depending on which system you're in. Sensors, get to that eventually. Waypoints, contacts. We want to hide civilian names, yes, which that is already on, and the reason for that is because it gets cluttered enough with our own stuff. And I forgot to turn the comets. You can't turn comet names off. Also turn the moons off, moon names. Contacts, yes, you want to have the names hidden for civilian ships. Military, this is every fleet that you have, and you saw a little pop-up there. That pops up this menu right here, which is this one right here. This little super Star Destroyer looking thingy. And once you start getting ships in your game, which we'll cover eventually in depth, they will show up in this interface here, as well as here. Minerals, this shows you what bodies in your solar system have minerals on them, the name of them, and how much they have. And you can click on the body to select. So we click there, we click Earth, it centers on Earth, tells you right where it's at. Display 2, asteroids with colonies on it, asteroids with minerals on it, Show geo-survey points. Now that is actually kind of important because once we get to starting to survey items, life pods, material packet contents, we don't care about what's in them, we just want to know that they're coming. And the rest of this we pretty much leave alone. And then we just go back to display, options down here, center on selected objects, yes. And there's two others that I was talking about that we need to have selected, and that is right here. So show surveyed bodies and mineral concentrations. The survey one obviously goes with the points, and when the points hit 0, they'll get a little ring above them. And then if they have minerals, they'll get another little ring. And if we have a colony on them, where did that one go? Yeah, highlighting own colonies, that will also make another ring. So you can have at maximum 3 little rings per planetary body. All right, now let's start going through the menus here. First off, we have our colony summary. This gives you all the nitty-gritty statistical type stuff about your colony. Excuse me. And it's pretty important stuff. It shows you your annual wealth, your population, planetary suitability, colony cost, the species, etc., etc., etc. So right now we have approximately 250,000 population. The way I see it, the only population that is left are scientists and military personnel and that kind of thing. Agriculture, and this is the cost. So for every this is the cost of, I believe it's how much of your population has to go towards agriculture to provide enough food for your entire population. And then it divvies it up, so we need 12.5 million people working in farming, service industry, manufacturing, etc., etc. Annual growth rate, so we will grow 3% per year, so 250 million, that's roughly 6.25 million per year, and we go in 30-day chunks. Infrastructure points required, we'll get into that once we start colonizing other planetary bodies. Tectonics, Earth-like, obviously that's the plates moving around and stuff like that. You have dead, minor, major, volcanic, things like that. And then geological team survey completed. Again, we'll get into that later. The next tab up here is industry, which we can get to by clicking right there or by clicking right there. Now, most of these do have shortcuts. So we can come in here. So yes, empire, economics, F2, system map, so forth and so on. So you've got all these little shortcuts that you can use if you would like to learn them. Construction, there's not a lot we can do right now because we are a non-trans-Newtonian civilization at the moment. So we will come back here. Mining and maintenance, this shows you exactly what this shows you, except that it shows it a little bit more detail. So it shows us we got 194,000 tons, not pounds, but tons of duranium, with excess of 1, annual production of 500, years to depletion 388 years, stockpile 100, recent stockpile, input output, mass driver input output, stockpile production or plus production, and projected usage and reserve level. Oh, I like having that. I've never done that. So yeah, a 1 on the accessibility, that means like it's everywhere. Like, so we find a small deposit up, right? And we go to mine it up. And for every pound that we pull up, we're getting X amount, right? And accessibility means that I would say that for 1 pound of material that we dig up, we get 1 pound of duranium. Now, the accessibility will go down as the deposits get dug out. So right here, for every pound, so let's say for every 100 pounds, right? So for every 100 pounds of neutronium we dig out, we're going to get 70 pounds of pure neutronium. And then, 5.8 and so forth and so on. So when you're colonizing other places, you want the highest concentrations of these minerals as possible to make it worth your while. Because you can see here, so it's 388 years to deplete our duranium. And there's less neutronium, but it's going to take, 60 years more to deplete the neutronium because it is harder to get to. Shipyards, I'm going to set this to, not retool, continually expand for now. And we'll come back to this in more depth, as well as shipyards. Now, research. This is where you're going to spend a large majority of the time in your game. So up here you have total research facilities. That is very important. Base research rate per facility, 200. So we have 10 facilities, and there's that. The per game pop-up. So we have 10 facilities, right? So if we click show matching scientists only, we can scroll down, see the different systems. So at the top we have biology and genetics, construction production, defensive systems, energy weapons, logistics, missiles, power and production, sensors and fire control. Right now we want construction and production because of this one right here, trans-Newtonian technology. And we don't have anybody that's good at them. So we got Owen, Cross, Charles Skinner, Rice, Greenwood, and Robert Bentley. You can see their specializations, defensive systems. I believe it is a 30% bonus or something to that effect for when they have these specialties. So if we come down here to defensive systems, we have nothing. All right, power and propulsion. So we come down to power and propulsion. So if we click this and we apply this to him, and we create the job right here, 10 facilities. So he's going to create 3,200 research points per year. All right, that's because he has his 15% bonus right here, plus his regular bonus. Now let's remove all but one, and I can show you. So we're getting 200 base, right? And then you have the additional bonuses because of his skills bonus and his specialization to give you 320 per year. Now we don't want that one. Actually, you know what? Just for the sake of our showing the differences here, we're going to do that. So he doesn't have a specialty, right? Let's go to somebody who has a specialty. All right, give you one. There we go. So you can see the difference that these two people get. Because I believe, so he has a 15% bonus, and he has no bonus. So let's see, Charles Skinner, power and production, nothing, because he's doing that, okay. Rice Greenwood, sensors and fire control, nothing, okay. So let's come down here to power and propulsion, cancel job. So he has no bonus. Let's give Skinner one lab, create this project. He's producing 320. So with a bonus and 15% and absolutely no bonuses at all. Well, he gets the bonus because he is genome or the biologist to begin with. Now let's see a no bonus at all. Well, we can't do that just yet. So let's cancel this one. Pick him for this one. So he has absolutely no bonuses applied. To take that down to 1, back to 200. So you can see that, and I realize it's probably very boring right now, but later on it becomes vitally important because these research projects become incredibly expensive, like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million research points, and you're bringing in, let's see, give him everything, right? So right now we're bringing in 2,300 annual research points. So let's say we have 1 million research project, right? 2,300, that's 434, oh, what the heck happened there? 434 years to research 1 million projects. So that's why, getting these bonuses up, applying the person with the biggest bonus, the person that can run the most labs, And eventually researching more annual base research per year is just vital. And then their bonus will go up as they get more experience, and as they get more experience, their labs will also their lab usage will go up. I've seen people start with 5 and end up with like 75. It's ridiculous. Next up on our tabs, since we have that set, and that's the first one that we have to get done, you've got environment and GMC, global modification condition centers. Okay, yeah, genetic modification centers. Okay, so right here, terraforming, and then this is bioengineering. Yes, you can create your own race. If we come back over here to research, genetic, we see genome sequence research. And you need that to do this stuff down here. I've never done that yet, but eventually we'll get around to it. So you can see here that we have Earth selected, and we have 0.79 atmospheres of nitrogen, which gives us 79% because our total atmospheric pressure is 1.0. 20% oxygen, 1% argon, and when you click this, you can do all these crazy different things. So we can add safe greenhouse gas, anti-greenhouse gas. So this one heats the environment up, this one cools the environment off. So you have a lot of control over your environment. Teams and academies. This will come into play later on. Civilians and states, industrial status. I can't talk tonight. Again, we will get into this stuff later on. This is like queuing things up and saying, I want this many billions of credits worth of vehicles transferred over here. And that's what this is. This is your logistics center. Ground units, that's your military, ground unit training, and wealth and trade. Now, I'm kind of glazing over these because we don't have anything to do with them right now. And once we start digging deeper into them, I will explain them in further. So, wealth and trade, you can go last month, last 3 months, last year. It's the year January 1st, 2000, so there's nothing going on. The economy just fell apart because the world ended. Wall Street collapsed. The Nikkei index just disappeared. The European stock exchanges just disintegrated. There's nothing left. We start with 10,000, what we're going to call galactic credits, and we're getting 100% of that. So right now, if we were to maintain as we are, we would get 10,000 per. And that's it. I mean, every planet and colony will produce their own goods, which is here. Give it a name like infrastructure or textiles or alcohol, firearms, transportation, that kind of stuff. Annual production, that'll tell you how much it's making, how much they're not completing, surplus, etc., etc. And they will they'll sell them back and forth between other colonies. So we have a colony of 250 million on Earth. We start a colony on the moon, Luna. The two will automatically trade back and forth, and we automatically get to tax that. Double plus good. So yeah. All right. So next thing we absolutely need to do, you need to come in here to Teams and Academy and open this officers window, which opens this. You can also get to that by clicking on William T. Riker pixelated logo here, Commanders, and there you go. Now, this is how you apply officers to your ships. So let's say you design the Enterprise D and you want Picard in control. You can come down here and you can rename these guys, right? So I can say LTCMD Riker, right? So he gets named Lieutenant Commander Riker. So I can apply these guys to these ships individually. And then you can also say auto rename and it will give them a random name from the dictionary that the game has. We have naval officers, ground force officers, civilian administrators, and leading scientists. And we're going to stick on civilian administrators right now because we need to pick a governor of Earth. Right? Now, there's a couple things you can do. You can click on them over here. Then you click on the governor of Earth. Unassigned. Unassigned just means that that slot has nothing assigned to it yet. This physical slot on our list is unassigned. That's all that means. So we click on governor of Earth, and we can see a lot of stuff on this screen. We've got our alliance, auto assigned. We're going to leave that clicked. You want to leave that a click because otherwise you will be spending so much time in here assigning people, or your colonies will do shitty. We're going to set our deployments on 60 months, so we want them to have a 5-year internment in office. Over here you've got additional details, just basic vital statistics. If you really like a guy, you can tell them do not end tour, so they will stay in that office position indefinitely. You have the ratings and stats. So this person, this Evie Conway, has xenology bonus 20%. Anthony Wood has shipbuilding bonus, mining bonus, population bonus, ground unit combat speed. Alex has factory production, wealth creation, mining. Ross has terraforming. William has... So you get the idea. So each one of these characters is generated completely at random and given their own little personality, just like Dwarf Fortress. Now, population sectors, teams, those are places that you can put them. And if you had multiple teams, you can pull people on and off these teams back and forth, and we will get into teams later. This gives you the officer's history. So January 1st, he was promoted to a civilian administrator. Oh my goodness, congratulations. You can add notes in here like, and there you go. So if I click here and then click back, oh, it didn't change it. I don't know why. What if I click change? No? Probably save. There we go. Yeah, so you can say, I am an amazing administrator, and click save. So that's like every time you click on him, that way you can kind of select, or so if you really wanted to, you could say use this person for this only, or anything you wanted you could put in there, and it's not going to go away. You can also assign them to ships once you have them. So over here we've got search by ability and location. We can find a whole lot of stuff in here. So every single class skill that these people can have, I can search for. So initially we want mining bonus and factory production bonus. So these 4 people out of the 6 we have are the only 4 that have those skills. When we click on it here, you can see over here on the left, it changes to the person that we're selecting, and it also shows their statistics up here. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. So this civilian administrator, Alex Houghton, has factory production 10%, mining bonus 10%, or 15%. He has A3 here, and you can see A1 here. Now these go numerically, so if we click back down to ground force, lieutenant general, major general, brigade general, colonel. So 1 is the lowest ranking, 6, 8, 9, 10, whatever is the maximum ranking. So if we click on him, he's an A3. Earth needs an A1, so we can assign him. And just like that, it's done. And for now, that is all we are done here, I believe. I'm going to go to naval officers, and as you can see, you've got all this stuff down here. Warships, commercial ships. No options available at the moment. So we're going to click close there. Next we're going to come back over here to these 2. So we've got industrial, research, wealth and trade tab, ground units tab, Teams, which we were just in, or commanders, I mean. Next you have ship design, class design, which we'll get into very soon. Individual ships, fleets, task force organization, fighter squadrons, combat assignment, and this is where it starts to get good. Takes a second to generate. There we go. System generation and display. Every system that you explore will have a tab or a little drop down in this window. So I've got the Sol A system, and this tells me every planetary body that's in that system. Quite the helpful and handy screen indeed. So we can see Earth, M, which I'm not sure what M means. I'm not quite sure. Terrestrial planet, Alliance 2, which is the civilization. 250 million population. Colony cost of 0, and you can see up here, Venus 25. We'll get into that later. Surface temperature 14 degrees, and this is in Celsius. Gravity 1.0, Earth normal. Composition, orbital distance from the Sun, 150 million meters. Kilometers, I mean. Pressure 1.0, that is your total of the atmosphere pressure that your oxygen, nitrogen, argon, carbon dioxide, whatever else is. Diameter, hydrosphere, liquid, extent 70%. So, yeah, quite a lot of stuff on this. Down here, you've got the picture, so Mars, Luna, which is our moon, Earth. That isn't exactly what Earth looks like, but okay. Acceptable gravity, but water available. So this is vital statistics stuff so that you can determine if you want to colonize a place or not. So I can click Venus, right? Acceptable gravity, yes. Water, no. Mars, water, yes. Temperature, cost factor 1.6 versus 17.7. So it's going to take a lot more to colonize Venus than Mars. Now if we go back to Earth, you can see mineral deposits here. That is what this is over here. It shows it here. And so when we click Mars, we can see we don't have anything. It's because we haven't done a survey there yet. All right, and then we have jump point survey details. Don't need to worry about that right now. You have different tabs here. So you can have up to 4 suns or 4 stars per system. That's what these 4 tabs are. Jump points. We don't have any jump points actually explored yet. We just have survey points, so they're not going to show up yet. Hierarchy view. This is just how things are and how they're from the furthest point out, or maybe not. That's just a list of the names. Okay. System graphic, very cool. Shows you the scale of these planets in relation to one another. So you got Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Mercury, whole 9 yards. Earth is right there, so it's a little bitty compared to these big ones. And then options, you can hide the asteroids and stuff like that. Here, I think that's what that is. Yes, so that hid all the asteroids, so I can come in. If I want to show hide the moons, none of the moons show up. So if you're looking for a very specific thing to colonize, you can get to it in the options here. We are going to show if minerals on all of this type of stuff. We are going to go Fahrenheit because, well, we're in at least I'm in America, and Celsius confuses the living daylights out of me. And minerals. So we click that, nothing shows up. If we click this again, a whole lot of stuff shows up because this stuff is going to have minerals on it. We hope. Temperature, escape velocity, I don't know about that. Diameter, kilometers. So if we do Earth Sol, right? 1. So that is Earth is 1 Earth wide. If we click on Jupiter, it is 11 Earths wide. Saturn is 9 Earths wide. So I think I like that. Distance, astronomical units, which is AU is 1 light year. So there's that. And we're done here. So we can also, check our human. This is our race. So we breathe oxygen, gravity, min-max, oxygen min-max, temperature min-max, pressures. That's going to come into play when we start terraforming. All right, next we have this, the galactic map. The one that I'm concerned about right now is the system positions. Now, this doesn't matter anything right now. I can move it around, I can line it up, I can save position. It doesn't matter right now, but once we start exploring, we will have more of these stars show up, and that's what that represents, is one star, and we can move them around in any order we want. This is our galaxy map. I mean, I'm trying to think of a relation that would be easy to explain. But so like our solar system map, when you look at it on a map, it's the sun and then the planets go out like that. We get to design that specifically how we want here. So we can have one jump point over here, and then every jump point that's connected to that one just spreads out like a spider, and you can quite literally grow this however you want. The only way to close this one, you can minimize it, or you have to close it. All right. Races, this is your race, and we can change this stuff. So theme, United States, this is again the naming conventions for your ships. English, commander names, and all the stuff that we decided upon earlier is here. I'm going to change this image because I don't like that one. What's this one? Yeah, no, I don't really like that one. What's this? Definitely not. We got to be at least somewhat humanoid. No. That's cool, but that's not us. So you've got all these races that you can pick from. You know what? I like that one, despite it not being human. Let's just say that's a battle mech and there's a human inside. So we can change our random color. Let's make it nice and purple and obnoxious. So flag. Okay, I think that's the Swedish flag, isn't it? I think. Actually, I'm going to look. No, that is not the Swedish flag. Let's see if I can find it. This is it right here. The other reason I'm looking for the flag of Sweden is because, well, I'm Swedish, so yeah. Gotta pay homage to the ancestrals, right? I am not seeing it. Yeah, I don't think many of these are actually real flags. Some of them are, but not very many. So for now, let's just do this one, just because I like the look of it. We can change our ship hull. You've got all these fantastically rendered out, extremely high resolution images of science fiction ships from around the verse, as it were. And because it's relatively copyright free, I'm going to pick the generic sphere. It's probably a little bit less generic than I think it is, but I've never seen that one before, so we're going to select that. Click save, and then we can close. All right, next we have our create research project. This is going to pop up every single time until we get an active sensor research in there. This is where we're going to design our engines, our weapons, our jump drives, our sensors, our power plants, all that good stuff. And we'll get into this in depth later. Oh, I would like some names for companies and corporations. Now keep in mind, this is think Star Trek or Star Wars or, something, some spacefaring names, like intergalactic resource or intergalactic resolutions for scanners or something like that. Give me some names for for all this stuff. So we've got active sensors, beam fire control, CIWS, which is close-in weapon systems. That's your point defense. So missiles coming in, pew, 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 laser shoots it. Cloaking devices, EM detection sensors, engines, gauze cannon, high-power microwave jump engine, lasers, magazines, Mason cannon, which is a weapon that, from what I understand, ignores shields and armor, but very short range. Missile engines, missile launchers, new species. Ooh. Particle beam, plasma cannonade, power plants, railguns, shields, absorption, and standard and thermal sensors. Give me names for these fields. And when we create something, that name will go in here. So if I get intergalactic or a sensor, that's the name that I will use for every sensor from here on out. If I don't get names, I will pick from a list that I already use. This button here, available colonies. So we can colonize Mars and Luna right now, and that's about it. Open, nothing happens. If I click on Sol, Earth. Okay, so open opens this menu here. Okay, splendid. Go to body, it just centers the map. So if I click over here on this one, pull that back up, click on Earth, go to body, yep, it just centers it. Tells you the human stuff again, atmosphere for the planet, minerals deposits again, and then you can filter, and there you go. Maximum colony cost, we'll get into that later. Okay, next up we've got fuel report, which we don't really care about right now because we don't have any ships. Right here we got damaged ships. Again, we don't care because we don't have ships. Player race production. Once we actually start building things and producing things, this will populate. Okay, there we go. Didn't want that on, but it's gripping at me. So that's that. Technologies. Every technology that we research in the game is here. So we have ICBM launch control right now. Those things they're useless. We're down to 250 million people. We don't want to fight each other anymore. So guess what? Those are obsolete. They just got wiped out on the planet. So pull this to the side. The Create Research Project, or Design Technology as I like to call it, every one of these in here has a counterpart in here. Except for species. So I can come in here, find all my ICBM components. ICBM solo, obsolete. Conventional ICBMs, obsolete. And there we go. Next up, we have geological survey reports. Every time you create a geological survey in the system, which again you can select the system, it will tell you the system, the body, colony cost, gravity, amount of resources, and that is this one right here. So we're looking at duranium, and then it will tell you all the other minerals in there. So if I click this, neutronium is now here, duranium is in here somewhere, right there. Neutronium popped back in, we're on corbomite now, so it just tells you. Very, very, very useful menu here. This one, shipping lanes, when the civilians, so right now we've got Bentley Freight Limited. Bentley Automotives survived the cataclysm. And they're now in the galactic shipping. Awesome. I have no control over these except for giving them 1,000 wealth at a time. This tells the recent deliveries that they've done. This tells the ships that they have. And this will populate with more and more companies over time. Assign system to sectors. We don't have any reason to create sectors right now, and I've actually never messed with it, so we're just going to leave this one alone. Refresh button. If we are in here and we're doing something and we're waiting for something to update, so say like we're on Luna and we're trying to add water, right? So it would be like that. And we're seeing it not updating here. We can close that and reopen it to refresh it, or we can click refresh button and that refreshes every single tab that's open. This right here is the events updater. This is very important because every event in the game that happens is going to show up here at some point or another. I'm going to change this to say 500 menu or messages because sometimes you can go 4 or 5 turns and want to see something back, and if it's making 50 messages a turn, oy vey. And that's really all this is. So new shipping lines, right? I can tell it make a new shipping line message pink and give it a color text color of yellow. That way I can see it better. So that's a new shipping line. Now display, where did that go? Show events right here. So everything here that shows up will now show up down here. And then this one here, intelligence and foreign relations. I only just ran into this in my private game, and that was after expanding out like 3 solar systems out. This is where alien races show up. It shows their current status. It shows first contact, all the vital statistics about that race. We'll get into this much later. Now it's time to start taking a turn. Oh my God, it's taken so long to get this far, but you know what? It's going to be worth it because we are going to conquer the universe. Yeah. Okay, so let's zoom into about this level here. Wait, before we go on, take our first turn, I want to design an engine because we need to get an exploration ship up and out immediately. So I'm going to go to engines, and this is traditional engines. We can do missile engines and jump engines, but right now we're just concerned about regular putt drive around the galaxy engines. Conventional engine technology, oh my God, that's all we got. Liquid, nitrogen, or oxygen, and whatever else they use in a solid rocket fuel booster kind of thing. Engine efficiency, we want this to be a 0.5 minimum for a commercial engine. And right now we see military engine. That will change. Fuel consumption. We can't do anything about that right now. Thermal reduction signature. Can't do anything about that right now. Engine size. Hull. We're going to click show in tons. 250 tons is 5 hull. Okay, so if we go 1 hull size, right? 50 tons. So keep that in mind. So each 1 hull size is worth 50 tons. We need to make this engine at least 25 hull size. So I'll go to 24, military engine, 25, commercial engine. Now this is important because military equipment requires maintenance. You have to include maintenance parts, you have to include maintenance personnel, you have to include maintenance facilities. Commercial ships don't, right? We don't mess with commercial. We're the military. We're the government. If it's something commercial, we just give it back to the manufacturer. They fix it, and you know we never see it. We never know. So we're making a 25 hull size, minimum of 0.5 fuel. So I'll go to 0.55, military engine again. All right. So this is a 2.5 engine power engine. Uses 0.33 liters of fuel per hour, and it consumes 0.13 liters per hour the engine is running. And that's really about it. I mean, you've got your engine size, so it's 1,200 ton. That's a minimum size. Minimum engine heat, or HTK. Thermal signature, explosion chance, cost, crew, materials required. I wonder what that's for. Development cost, 50 research points. Now, I did ask you guys for names. However, it's still this episode, so I'm going to come up with the first name. I want you guys to fill in the rest. So I'm going to do range dynamics. And this is a name that I use for all my engines. Range dynamics makes every engine in this game right now. If you want me to do a military engine company, let me know. So all you do is you click create, change project name if required, then press to create this project. Once created, this project can be researched from the economics window. So there we go. Well, we're going to rename this to a rocket engine, because that's essentially what it is, right? It's a solid fuel booster rocket. And that's all. We don't get a confirmation, we don't get a pop-up, we don't get a little message down here, nothing. So we come in here to research. We don't see it. Where is it at? Well, that's an engine, so it's going to be in power and propulsion, and our engine is right there. Yay! It's right there. Okay, so we need to remove a lab from Mr. Owen Cross here because there's no available labs. So all you do is you select who you want, click remove. Aha! Click here, click Charles Skinner, click create. Yes, I want to create this with one research facility. So I've got 3 available labs, right? Let's click out, click back in. Refresh, back. All right, so I have nothing selected in here. I click add research lab. It's going to add it to the one on the bottom of the list. I do that again. I remove, it takes it from the bottom of the list automatically. Whichever one I select and is in red, that's the one that it will actually add them to. February 27th, 2000. Let's remove all of this immediately. Add it to this immediately because we want to get that done like now. January 7th, it's going to be done. Oh my God. January 6th. Okay. Game mechanic information time. We can pass time in as small as 5 seconds per, and as quickly as 30 days per turn. Okay? However, the game will not update colonies and research and economy and production except every 5 days. Keep that in mind. So, January 6th, right? It's January 1st. We can see that up here as well. Having that finish date is pretty pointless. I'll show you what. So let's click a turn, take a turn, so I can click it up here, or I can click it in here. 5 days. Bam. Okay, and we got a bunch of menu options down here. Low-tech infantry, and that happened because we clicked automated assignments. We like to research. Okay, so in theory, this should complete, right? So if I click 1 day, oh, it didn't finish. What, were you guys on break? Come on, finish. Oh, come on, finish. Okay, excellent, they finally finished. That's because that was a 5-day interval. So when you have things like that are going to finish and you know it's not going to be on a 5th day, just remove people or add people to get it to that 5-day thing if you're worried about min-maxing. Now we can add all 10 of these back in here and we can design a ship. Yeah. So design view, ordnance, component summary, DHC rank info, ships and class, glossary terms, and this will tell you all the little acronyms and abbreviations that pop up as you play the game. Full summary view. Okay, excellent. So we want to click a new ship. Oh my God, we got the Essex. Oh, sweet. We can also, because you got all these buttons down here at the bottom. Renumber, select name, auto rename, new hull. Gives you a name. Trying to think. Let's just name this the Atlas. No. The Dragon. In fact, we're going to name it the Dragon X because right now in real life, that's the conventional engines that we have. We're trying to make it, at least somewhat realistic, right? So Dragon X. There we go. Abbreviation Dragon. Okay. So we now have Essex, the ship, Dragon X, which is also shown there. It is presently 255 tons. It has 10 people. It's going to take 36 build points. It has 50,000 liters of fuel, and we have a range of non-existent. Why is that? Well, it's because this ship has no components right now. It's a amorphous blob of duranium, titanium, and steel right now. It has no shape because we haven't given it a shape. And I'm not saying literally a shape. It's just it has the basic crew quarters in there. And that's it. That is literally it. So we can come in here and design our ship on these items. So we can add more bridges. We can add 5 bridges at a time. 10 bridges at a time. Hell, we can add 100 bridges at a time. And as you can see, the more we add or take away, the more our weight goes up. Although we do need at least 1 bridge. So the minimum size that this ship can be is 255 tons. Or is it? Because we need an engine. Okay, let's add an engine. Okay, 1,800 tons. Oh my, that's because our engine, we click size in tons up here, we go to our engine, is 1,250 tons. Remember, that was the smallest we could possibly make it. All right. That's that. We've got our ship. However, there's a bunch of other stuff it needs, and we can't put that stuff on because we haven't researched it yet. We need to get our geological sensors. We've got fuel storage, so there is that. And aside from that fuel, we're going to need the geological sensor. And we're going to have to research that. The only way to research that is to let time pass and discover Newtonian technology. So let's do that. So I can click 5 days, 30 days. What happens if I click 30 days? Oh my god, the map moved. Yes, the game simulates the movement. That's why at the very beginning, when you show that rotate asteroids, and you can even tell it's rotate planets. So you can have a game with geosynchronous, non-moving planetary bodies, or you can have a game with moving bodies. Keep that in mind. Now, I don't want to sit here and click. There will be times when that happens, but I don't want to right now. So I'm going to click auto turn and let time pass. You can see it up here. It's May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. Wow, 1 year has passed. To turn it off, click the auto turns. Wow, it's April 2001 already. Oh my god. We still have 2,000 points to go. It's going to take forever. Or is it? Oh, it's going quicker now. Ooh, I like that. All right, let's go back to auto turn and let it happen. February, March, April. There we go. And you notice the game automatically stopped. And it tells us, a team on Earth by Owen Cross has completed research into trans-Newtonian technology. So yes, and that shows up right there. Let's change the background color on research. Let's make that a nice bright yellow. New officers. You know what? I don't care to see all the new officers. How do I get rid of that? How do I get this last time increment? How do I get rid of that? Well, we don't want to get rid of that because that's our turn. However, we do want to get rid of these officer updates, new officers, officers promoted, promising new officers. Why? Because, good God, they're annoying. So we click on filter event. So let's see the first one. New officer. I can't alphanumeric sort, so I got to scroll down. New officer. Double click it, turns to red. That hides it. I go back here. Boom! It's gone. Officer update. Ah, there we go. Get rid of them. And look at that. Beautiful. We don't have all that superfluous information now because we don't need it. New scientist. Let's get rid of that one. There we go. New shipping line. We don't need that. Oh my god. Oh. Makes it so much easier because otherwise, if you don't disable that stuff, otherwise, you will literally get this yellow line of text to the ceiling. And then when you come in here to sort, you can only go up. In our case, 500 lines before there's absolutely nothing left and your messages start cycling through. So the more you filter out, the more information you can have stored in here for longer. Keep that in mind. So, we completed Transunion technology. That's going to be it for this episode. What a cliffhanger? Maybe not. So, next episode, we're going to talk about production. And then we're going to try and get those sensors so we can get our first ship, so that we can come out here to Luna and see what the hell's on the moon. Right? And there's nothing there. Huh. But yeah, that's the moon, and we want to know what's out there. We want to know if there's any titanium, duranium, plutonium, and ludium P38 modulator stuff out there on the planet. So until next time, folks, talk to y'all later. Peace out.